Hey, what time is it when a rhinoceros sits on your bed? It's time to get a new bed. Hello, my name is Scott, and I teach ceramics at the Pump House Regional Art Center, located at 119 King Street in downtown La Crosse. When we're up and running on a non-pandemic schedule, I will be offering classes for kids and adults at the Pump House Art Center, so please visit the website for information on these classes as they are scheduled. Okay, so today's project will be making a rhinoceros. And if you have the take-home kit to make the rhinoceros, it will include a block of clay, a plastic knife, a wooden craft stick, a wooden skewer, and a bag of slip, which is just watered down clay, and we'll use it as a glue. So, the first thing you need to do is take the block of clay and your plastic knife, and you're going to cut this block of clay right in half. Just like that. Set one half off to the side, take the other half that you have, and cut it in half. Once you have these two pieces, each of these is going to be half of the body of the rhinoceros. So, first we're going to take one piece of it, we're going to round off all those corners. Take your thumb, press into the center of that piece of clay, and you're going to take your other fingers and you're going to pinch and turn, pinch and turn. Your thumb hasn't gone all the way through, it's just in a ways, and you're going to keep pinching and turning. And I got to remember to keep this in camera shot so you can see. So we have a little pinch pot just like that. Set that off to the side. Take your other piece of clay and you're going to smooth out those corners. Take your thumb, press into the center, again not all the way. Take your other fingers, pinch and turn. And you're just going to do this lightly and keep turning, and eventually you'll be getting the pinch pot made. Don't force it in one pinch, it's many pinches. You want to make sure that these walls stay kind of thick. If they get a little thin, you want to just press them so that they stay thicker. Now, you have two pinch pots, and they're about the same size, and what you're going to do next is you're going to put these two pots together like that, and we're going to smooth out the seam. So you just take your finger or your thumb and you smooth them out. Just like that. Now, you want the shape of this to look like one of those giant marshmallows. So we're going to set it down onto the paper, roll it back and forth. We don't necessarily want the ends to be flat, but you want it to look more like an egg, I would say. And this will be the body of the rhinoceros. How do you know there's a rhinoceros in the refrigerator? You can't shut the door. Okay, now I'm going to spare you the rest of these jokes for the rest of this video. So you have your body made. Take the other piece of clay that you've cut, and you want to cut it in half. set one piece off to the side, take the other piece, cut it in half, turn, and cut it in half again. So now you have 4 pieces of clay, just like that. And these are going to be the legs to our rhinoceros. So we're going to take each piece and we're going to, again, smooth out those edges, round it a little bit. Don't squeeze it too much. You don't want them to be long legs. You want them really kind of squatty, like that. Take each piece and you're going to round them. Just like that. Am I staying in camera? I hope so. Okay. Just like that. So we have a body, 4 legs. Set them all off to the side. Take your piece of clay. Cut it in half. Set one half off to the side. Take the other half and cut it in half. Now, these 2 pieces are going to be the head of the rhinoceros. So what you want to do is you want to take each piece, roll it into more of a ball. Take that ball of clay, press in your thumb, not too far, and pinch and turn, just like we did with the body. And then you're going to have like a really small pinch pot. Set that up to the side, take the other piece, roll it into a ball. With those hands, make you dizzy? Okay. Pinch and turn, pinch and turn. Okay, so you have 2 really small pinch pots. You're going to take those 2 pinch pots, put them together just like you did the body, and we're going to cover up that seam. Just like that. And when you got that seam completely hidden, you're going to set this down onto the paper and roll it back and forth. And we're going to give it that egg shape again, just like you did with the body. Now if it starts to crack a little bit, that's okay, you just smooth that out. Now, what we're going to do with one end of this head is we're going to give it a little bit of a point, not a sharp point, just a little bit. So that's really going to look like an egg. Just like that. Okay. So that's the head. Set that off to the side. Bring back these legs and bring back this body. And we're going to attach the legs to the body. Now, to do that, I want you to take your wooden skewer, and on each leg at the very top, you're going to draw in some lines, just like that. Doesn't have to be neat. You're just making this surface rough. And you're going to do that with each of the legs. Just like that. Now on each of these legs, you're going to add slip. So you're going to take out your bag of slip, right in that bag, open it up, take your craft stick, and you're going to gather up a bunch of that slip on the craft stick. Now remember, slip is just watered down clay, so it looks wet, it looks slimy, it looks disgusting, but it's not. It's just watered down clay. You're going to take each leg and you're going to spread the slip over that rough spot that you've created, and you're going to add it on like frosting on each of the 4 legs. Just like that. Now you're going to pick up the body and you're going to attach these legs to the body. You want to attach it firmly, but not so hard that you're going to go through the body. So you're just going to do that. I think I'm still in camera. Add leg number 3 back here. And add leg number 4. Remember, press firmly, give it a wiggle. And there you should have a standing rhinoceros. Well, standing piece of clay anyway. And what we're going to do is we are going to secure these legs a little bit better, but in a little bit. So right now you just set that off to the side. You're going to pick up the head. Now the pointy part to this is going to be the nose, and the flatter part is going to be the neck area that attaches to the body. So that's going to be attached like that. And what you want to do is you want to take your wooden skewer and you want to draw in those lines on the neck part of the head, and draw in some lines on the body where the head is going to attach to that. Gather up some more slip out of your bag, just like that, and spread this on the areas that you've just roughed up on the body and on the head. And then you're going to attach the head to the body and give it a few little turns here to press it down. And hopefully you'll see like a line of slip kind of ooze out from between the head and the body. That's good. You want to see that. Smooth it out. And from here, you want to take your last piece of clay, pinch off a little bit of clay, and you're going to roll it on the paper into a little tiny snake. And that's called a coil. So you want to be kind of thin. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to secure those legs a little bit better. So now you have your little coil of clay, and you're going to attach it right where the leg meets the body. And you're going to press that down and go all the way around. So that it kind of looks like that. And you're going to smooth all that out. And that's just going to make sure that that leg stays on there really well. Now, you're going to do that to all 4 legs. So coil goes here, coil goes here, and a coil goes there. You can also create another coil and put it around the neck, and that might help keep that head on, because if the head falls off, Rhino's not going to like that. So we'll make sure that it stays on there really well. And so it's just a matter of creating a little collar for your Rhino and smoothing that out. So you've added a coil of clay around the neck and around each of the 4 legs. Okay, so I've secured the legs by adding a coil of clay around that seam and smoothing it out. I did that for all 4 legs. I've also added a tail, which is just that coil, and I placed it at the back side of the rhinoceros. I keep the tail very close to the body. It could go out like that, but when this dries, that's going to become very brittle, and probably just break off. So we're going to just set it so that it's in contact with the body of the rhinoceros, like that. I added a little bit of clay to the neck to secure the head on, which is always good. From here, you want to take your last bit of clay and you're going to make the horns. So you pull off a little bit of clay, roll it into a ball, and you're going to pinch one end of it into a point so that you're going to end up with something that looks a bit like a raindrop. You're going to take that raindrop, and on the rounded bottom part, you're going to push that flat. So now you have a chocolate chip. You're going to take the chocolate chip, and on the very bottom, you're going to take more slip and spread it onto the bottom of your chocolate chip. And then you're going to add this to the nose of the rhinoceros. And that's his horn. Now, you're going to take another little piece of clay and you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to make like a mini chocolate chip. And that mini chocolate chip is going to have slip on the bottom, and you're going to place it right behind the first horn. Just like that. From here, you're going to take yet another piece of clay about the same size as the first horn that you've made. You're going to flatten it. So I flattened it. And then you're going to make one end of it pointy, like that. You can press it a little bit thinner there. This is going to be an ear, by the way. You're going to take the rounded side, flatten it just a little bit. It should be thicker on this end than it is over here. You're going to add slip to that flattened part, and then you're going to place it on the head of the rhinoceros, like that. You're going to make another ear. You can do the exact same thing. Place slip on the end, add it to the head of the rhinoceros, and then it's going to look like that. Now it's really looking like a rhinoceros, isn't it? Okay, from here, I like to give the head just a little bit of a pinch on the sides, like a little indentation, because that's where the eyes are going to go. So I make just a little indentation there and a little indentation there. And from here, we have a problem. Okay, so the problem is that we have air trapped inside the body. We have air trapped inside the head. Now, the reason that this is a problem is that when we put this into the kiln to fire it, and the temperature reaches about 1800 degrees, so that's just under 2000 degrees, that air in there warms up and it expands. And it needs to escape from these areas. If it doesn't escape, it's going to blow up our rhinoceros. So we don't want that to happen. So we need to pierce these two areas to allow that air to escape when it's in the kiln. So you're going to take your wooden skewer And right on the head, in these areas that I've kind of depressed, you're going to poke a hole into the head, and that's going to be an eye. And you're going to turn it over, and you're going to do the same thing on this side. You're going to poke a hole in that head, and you're going to allow that air to escape when it heats up, but now you have an eye, so that's great. For the body, you need to let that air escape too. So we're going to tip it upside down, and right at the bottom of the rhinoceros, we're going to poke a hole. Kind of make that a little bit bigger, make sure that the air can get out. And so that's going to allow all of this air to escape when it heats up. So we are just about there. From here, you want to secure these ears a little bit better. You can do a little tiny coil, or you can just really take your wooden skewer and smooth that out. You just want to make sure that those ears aren't going to fall off. Same with the horns. You want to make sure the horns are on really well. Don't want them falling off. And looks like our rhinoceros could use a mouth. So I'm just going to make a little mouth, just like that. And the last thing is to take your wooden craft stick, probably the clean side, and you're going to press in some toes. Not too hard. Just going to press in some toes like that, and do that on all 4 feet. And then if you want, your rhinoceros probably has a few wrinkles here and there, so you can just take your skewer and create some lines that might suggest some wrinkles. Nothing too major. A little bit more of a mouth here. Okay, I think that was in camera. And there you have your finished rhinoceros. Now, what you want to do from here is you want to bag him up in a plastic bag. You're going to keep him from drying out completely. He'll dry out a little bit maybe, but you just don't want him to be completely dry so that he'll transport much better. And then if something happens to him on the way to the art center, we can fix it. So bag him up, bring him to the art center. You're going to pick out a color for him. I'm going to fire the little rhinoceros, and I'm going to glaze him for you, and then I'll return a finished rhinoceros to you. So good luck. I know you can do it, and I hope to see you all soon when we have classes up and running when this pandemic is over. So we'll see ya.